Hello everyone, welcome to a World of Warships Blitz video. Today's video is the first in the could be quite short series on equipping the Mogami. So I have the Cheshire to do after that, but we'll start with the Mogami. So essentially here the ship is, it's basically in its raw state. There's a couple of quick things that I normally do whenever I get a ship. The first thing is that I will make sure that the auto resupply is ticked. It often is, but there's nothing worse than getting out into battle and discovering that there's, you're a bit short on repairs and you're a bit short on protection. I have a fair number of these, so for early games I'll probably pop it in there. The other thing that I'll do absolutely straight off the bat is I will load and auto resupply the supplies. Now these are cheap enough, so I'll make sure auto resupply is ticked there. These are basically for a destroyer. I would be choosing the high grade coal instead of the preventative maintenance pack, but for a cruiser or a battleship I will take the three that I've listed there, which are the improved crew rations, the preventative maintenance pack, and the refined diesel, just for that slight performance improvement. I won't get the camo straight off. I'll see whether or not I really like the ship before I go for the camo. I have enough gold for one historical camo between these two. So no, that's where we go with that. It's a premium, so let's embark a commander. Who have we got here? We've got a Congo commander, an Akatsuki commander, an Akazuki commander. There's a few commanders. We'll just drop one on board to try and boost them up a bit. There's no point taking premiums out without a commander on board because you can transfer them in freely and they're good trainers. Right, at this stage, as I said, it'll be a short video, but I'll try and tack on a battle video onto the end of this one. I've got a few saved up. I actually have taken it out into combat. The equipment. Now at tier 6 and below, these are cheap enough that I just drop them on. And also the selection is limited enough that it sort of chooses itself. For the Mogami, what I'll do is I'll take it out into battle and work out which of these the ship most seems to benefit from. So I have taken it out into battle so I can make one of those decisions, but before I go there, the other thing I will point out is that I still haven't chosen an elite ship bonus. I'm leaning very heavily towards cruiser modernization, but I'll have a few battles under my belt before I select that. I'm not a big fan of the torpedo tube traverse and reload, simply because the ship benefits more from the guns. This improved main battery traverse speed also is an opportunity for me to be able to get the main battery modification without worrying about the impact that has on the traverse of the turrets. In fact, I have taken it out into battle and I'm fast coming to the opinion that the dispersion improvement in that first slot is where I'll go. One final thing to check, you can see there that the turn time, maximum traverse speed for the ship is 6.6 degrees per second and the turret traverse is 8 degrees per second, so it's not outturning its turrets, which is really important. In one of the battles that I've done, there was a bit of downtime near the end and I did a whole lot of hard turns with the guns trying to track on target opposite the turn, and it doesn't outturn its turrets. There's a few ships like the Warspite, for example, where I'm finding that I thought that I had the traverse up there, but it is outturning its turrets. But not the case with the Mogami. So for this one, what I'll do is I will basically purchase this because I know that of all these options, this is the one that I am most going to benefit from. I have seen a lot of long-range fire falling in a pattern that sort of brackets a ship, so this will tighten it up quite nicely. So there we are. That is a bit of an introduction on how I gear out my ships, one slot at a time. I'm not feeling the urgent need to fill in any of these other slots. I am catching fire, but it's not grotesque. Acceleration, I'm not hurting. Traverse, well, more traverse is always good. Concealment, Concealment's good for that initial rush, or if you are able to use smoke to drop your detection radius while you're in smoke. So I'll use detection on light cruisers that are DD hunters, but for the Mogami I'm not feeling it. So at the moment, undecided about these other two equipment slots, slot 2 and slot 3. So that essentially takes us up to the point where we can take it out into battle again and see how we go. And what I'll do is I will tack on to the end of this one of those initial battles with the unkitted Mogami and explain what I was thinking at the time. Right, so here we are. This is actually the second game out. We are on the Southern Archipelago map. We have ourselves a couple of destroyers, myself and another cruiser, 3 battleships. Now what I'm doing down here is sort of heading down the center line, trying to basically be able to provide cover into either of these caps. Both battleships seem to be turning to the right to head down the right part of the map. Our poor destroyer is off on the other side by himself. We have a couple of enemy destroyers, one enemy cruiser and a few enemy battleships there. So yes, at this point we're getting fired at by our own side, probably hoping that we aren't going to get too far ahead. I have got that island to hop in behind. I am probably being a little bit overly aggressive. The torpedo angles aren't great, we are detected, so it's time to make some tracks. Showing a lot of broadside admittedly, but that's the EC. Firing a bit short and get some fires out on him. He gets some fires in on me. And that destroyer is going in behind the headland. So we're going to, it looks like our side's going to roll up this flank, and we need to provide a bit of assistance on the other side here, which is going to be a bit tricky. We are spotted and out with the gun dispersion, out with gun shots. And you can see the dispersion isn't fantastic. We are taking a bit of heat. And all we're going to try and do is just slow it down so that our team can roll up that flank. This team can't roll up ours as quickly and try and get ahead on points. There's a destroyer coming around the headland there. We'll fire some random shots out and we'll try and get him behind this island. Turret traverse is quite nice, but the grouping of the shots could obviously be a little bit nicer. So in the first part of the video you saw, as a result of this battle, because this battle occurred before the kitting out video that I just shot, that I've gone for the dispersion in that first slot, simply because I'm going to be spending a lot of time firing at range. It's not a ship to get in close with, and I want to maximize the number of hits I get on board. So here we are. All we're going to try and do here is basically create a bit of a menace. They're firing HE over the top of us. We have an enemy destroyer out there somewhere, so I'm going to have to try and turn away. And these turns, oh, there goes the enemy destroyer. I should probably give it more lead than that. We are getting targeted by the Issei as well, which is not good. Actually, I probably didn't need to give it that much lead. And so what we're going to try and do is see if we can get this destroyer out of the battle, because with the destroyer out of the battle, it actually makes it a lot easier for our battleships to get busy and do stuff. Going to do wide, and the purpose of this wide is to try and encourage him into a bad firing solution. He's chasing us out of the cap. That's okay, we're keeping him busy. We're going to have to wear one of these. I could probably have turned away, but let's get some shots in. Probably about now I could have used those torpedoes. I'm really lucky that those battleships have a really appalling aim. So we are turning away. He's heading back into the cap. At this point I probably could have turned back, but and you can see there that, well, apart from not giving enough lead, the gun dispersion isn't actually that reliable. One set of torpedoes to make sure that we keep them moving, not enough lead. Let's just give him what we can. It's him gone. And we're going to keep the turn on because we're going to assume that he's fired torpedoes. We've got the reverse, the turn. We're one again. Right, we're not going to last much longer, but we are holding things up. We have, I'm not sure how much time we've elapsed there in the cap. We are ahead by a few points. We're up by, well, not, we're equal on the number of ships. I'm just going to try and get whatever slugs I can in. And just hold out for as long as I can. That way he has to keep his broadside on to keep his guns on target. I mean, he could try and rush me, but if he does, well, I do have torpedoes. There's the our friendly cruiser in behind. Hopefully he's going to get out of dodge because he's going to get hammered if he stays there. In fact, oh, he is stuck. We have an AFK cruiser, and it took me that long to work it out. So he'll only slow them down. Well, he won't slow them down much at all. But they have done a wide loop. Our guys are also doing a wide loop. We are now 2 for 2. We will lose this York. So during the course of that battle, you could see that I kept distance. Turret traverse would have been nice, but not really a super big problem. The bigger problem I had was the guns just were a little bit scattery. So, you know, it wasn't sort of German battleship levels of dispersion or Mikasa levels of dispersion, but still, at the ranges we're firing at, we were losing one or two all over the place. And so from that perspective, the first equipment slot definitely is going to be going, or has gone into that dispersion improvement. Otherwise, the maneuverability, catching fire didn't seem to be an issue. Maneuverability, well, at those sorts of ranges, not too much of an issue. I mean, knife fighting with a destroyer in the Mogami isn't sort of recommended practice, but still, yeah, as long as we kept the distance open, we were able to do a little bit of that. Here goes our destroyer, who is going to, well, Suicide Squad through that lot. He's gone. Interestingly enough, we won the game. I have no idea how the scoring works there. What we'll do is we'll have a look. And I got MVP. Completely unsure of what. Let's go and have a look at the battle details. One ship sunk. No capture zones. I have no idea. Damage and winning. Yeah, anyway, it's quite nice to have a win in the Mogami, but the key thing that I learned from that is that just to work on that gunfire, to work on that dispersion, and then look at the next stage of the equipment slots that I need to fill in. It could end up like the US light cruiser line, where basically once you've got the first slot filled in, the rest of them are sort of random and arbitrary. You can pretty much choose what you want. This is feeling a little bit comfortable in that there's nothing that I really want to knock the hard edges off, not 3 games in anyway. So I hope that you found that useful. Thanks for watching.